Welcome to the vlog, guys. Last night I attended My Bloody Valentine. Watched that movie. It's an old movie. I had to watch that movie for some credit for my Spanish class, which is where I'm headed to right now. I'm gonna do some Spanish, and who knows what the rest of the day will bring. But I know exactly what I'm gonna be doing after class, and I'll fill you in on this when I get back. 2006 Dodge Charger SRT8. No better place than to sit here right in the cockpit, tell you the story about how I've come to purchase this car. As you know, in the previous vlogs, I talked about having the Dodge Magnum. That was my first introduction to the Dodge LX series cars. Now, bought that one some years ago. It's an interesting story by itself. Went up to New York and picked up that car. It was an RT. At the time, I was in the market for an SRT. And those of you that don't know, the RTs are 5.7 liter. The SRTs are 6.1 liter. There's been some more models come about since those days. But in this generation of the cars, I couldn't justify jumping up to the 6.1 liter, the SRT, and the Magnum, just because of the price difference. That was the eBay car that I bought, but I believe some of the SRT versions were $10,000 more, and just for a few more cubic inches, I knew a 5.7 could run like a 6.1. In those days, there wasn't as many mods as there are now for these cars, but I always wanted the SRT. I believe in 2016 is when I relinquished or let go of the Dodge Magnum. And I'd always wanted an SRT, and in the past year, I was in the market to get another Dodge. I had driven the Dodge Challenger, the RT, and I was familiar with those when they came out, and I was familiar they had a few stick shifts. They had some 6-speeds, I believe, and I drove one of them. But the way that I fit in the car and just the style of the car and the sides of it from the outside, I just didn't feel right in the car. I'd driven the Magnum, and I really liked the Magnum. They were sweet driving cars, really comfortable. When I sat in the Chargers were just about identical to the Magnum. As you know, the Magnum was like a station wagon. I always liked it. Not everybody liked it, though. But like I said, in the past year, I was in the market for the SRT8, or actually the Dodge Charger. I had looked at some RTs, and I went and drove some RTs. And when I drove them, I was asking myself, why am I going to go back and get the same car that I just had and just a different body style? Why don't I step it up to the SRT? And I started doing a little bit more research on the different types of cars, or the Dodge series cars, from the Charger to the Challengers to the old SRTs, the newer SRTs in specific years. I can't remember if it's 2011 and 2014. Then they had some of the Scatpacks were 6.4 liter. Then you have the Hellcat versions where they're 6.2 liter supercharged cars. So there's a few of them to choose in there. And when I was looking for the RT, I was thinking about an earlier model, like something like a 2012 or 2014, somewhere in there, that I could get into really easy. And I started test driving them, and I believe it's 2013 specifically, 2013 and up, that I wanted. And I drove a few of them, and that's, I'm thinking I should just get the SRT, like what I wanted, and get an older version, because I still like the body style of the cars. Not everybody likes the older body style, but those are the ones that I really like the best. the interiors of the 2013s and up. I like those interiors. And just a little bonus, if you don't know about these cars from 2006, 2007, the interior of the SRT8 Chargers are the same. In 2008 or 2009, they changed the interior of the car, so it's a different interior. Some of the things are still the same, but the interiors are different. So I didn't want to get the same thing that I just had. So I started looking for the SRT, searching out those cars. And I found some for some good prices, but it's going to take a lot of work to get into some of them. I was going to have to buy them for maybe $4,000 or $5,000 and put $4,000 or $5,000 into it. Didn't really want to do that. I wanted to find one in real suitable condition that I could just get into and put minimum amount of money in to make it mine. So that's what I started looking for. And like I said, I looked for about a year. Some people will tell me that you just kind of jumped into the car because Dodge went all electric, so you kind of jumped right in. And no, that's not the case. I started looking before then. But during that time, while I was looking, they come out with that announcement. So the prices on the cars did jump up. Some of them jumped up more than others, and some people out there considered they could get $20,000 or $30,000 for their cars, which in reality is not the case. But I found a few SRTs. I did find some Magnum SRTs that were really tempting that I looked at and, messaged some people and talked about getting an SRT Magnum. But like I said, some of those were going to take too much work to just get into, even though they were really nice cars. But I wound up finding two of the Dodge SRTs, it's 2006 models, both in Oklahoma. One guy really didn't want to talk to me. He didn't answer any types of messages because he was tired of tire kickers. He sold these SRTs left and right. And I know what he's talking about, because when you put a car for sale on anywhere, you get a lot of people that just are tire kickers. They just, want to come up and see what you got, test drive it, or just, jaw you to death about the car when they don't have any intentions of buying. But me, I had all intentions of buying. So I found his car. I found another car a little bit farther away in Oklahoma from another female, and was talking with her about the car. We messaged back and forth maybe for about a week, and I told her that I was going to come up on a specific day. We set a date and time to go look at the car, and she experienced the same thing. A lot of tire kickers, people coming up wanting to get test drives from the car, people that didn't have any money. When she started talking about money with them, they told her, I don't have any money. I just want to come look at the car and see it. A lot of people wasting their time. So come down to that morning, and I was supposed to go up there. I messaged her. She didn't answer back. And I messaged a couple of times, and I was thinking maybe she changed her mind, or maybe she sold it. I was thinking if she sold it, probably not meant to be. So I've done something I really don't do, and I Facebook stalked. And I put a little message up there, or a comment on one of her pictures where she was selling the car. And she sent me, a message back. And I told her, my intentions of, buying, because I really liked it. So it was on from then. Me and my son got together. We went up there and looked at it, test drove it, done all those things, and wound up getting into the car. So it was something that kind of almost didn't happen, but it turned out for the best, because I got the deal that I wanted and got the car that I wanted. And later I'll go in and talk about the different types of specs on the car. But, getting into the 2006 model, I really enjoy this car. And that's another question that comes up. People talk about you should have got a, newer model car, should have got a Scatpack or something like that, or should have got a Hellcat or something. That's not my first preference. I just like this car the best. Is why I chose to go with this one. It is a warm one out here today. But one of the other questions I get is, why get a car now? Why get something like a sports car? That's not a sports car. It's a four-door car. What are you talking about? But why get it? Well, it's time. It's time I get back into a car like this. And it's continuing on the things that I was doing before. It's my expression. It's the ultimate expression. So that's one of the biggest reasons. Just enjoy the things that you have. Some of the other cars that I've driven before, over the years, the cars that I thought about getting was the Camaro, the SS2. And I drove one of those cars, and it was really, really nice. I was able to, during that time, I was able to land a 64 Impala SS. A lot of you people that know me know that I already had an Impala, but getting the SS was like the icing on the cake. And like I said, I've driven the Challenger. The Challenger is kind of, to me at the time, it didn't really compare to the SS, because I drove the Challenger first and the SS after. And it's a world of difference. And I know there's a lot of people out there, the Camaro fans out there, that like the, what is it, the Camaro 1 LE car. I can't remember what it is. ZL1, it's ZL1 or something like that. If you know, leave it in the comments. I can't think of it right now. But looking at those cars, you know, this is just not my preference at the moment. Yeah, my preference at the moment was to get back into the Charger. So here we have it. And I got some parts arriving tomorrow. We get this thing running like it should. Just gonna make it mine. You know how I do it. Man, I hadn't put any footage up of me rolling in a good while now. I meant to do it last night, but I forgot to hand the camera off. Having a lot of fun, doing a lot of different things. But I managed to get some footage during the class. Glad you guys tuned in. Hope you're enjoying the vlogs. I have more good content coming up for you next couple of weeks and more. I'm not going to tell you what I'll be into, but you'll see on the next one. So I'll see you later. Ultimate Expression 2023.